Parshas of Tazria Metzora principally deal with the halachas of tzaras. Tzaras, that could have been on a person, on a body, it could have happened on the beard, on hair, it could have happened on the clothing of a person, on the houses of a person. The Torah goes through great lengths telling us all the details of the different tzaras, and then the Torah tells us how a person becomes pure. How can a person purify himself from the tzaras? Because besides the fact that it's an einish, it's a punishment from Hashem, but it's also a very high level tumah. It's a very high level of ritual impurity. In fact, even the person comes in contact with a dead person, tumas meis, he only has to leave the actual confines of the Beis Hamikdash. But the Metzora has to go out of three machnes, says Sey Chazal, learn from the Torah. They have to go not only from the actual temple, but also from the Temple Mount, from the rabbi. Not only from the rabbi, but actually from the city of Yerushalayim. They have to be outside of the city, because such a level of impurity, such a level of tumah of Metzora supersedes all the other tumahs that are listed in the Torah. We know that in order to purify himself from this tumah, so he has to do a process which includes birds, and it also includes an interesting recipe made up of a piece of wood from the eres tree, and the acacia tree, I believe, the eres, and the shnitailas, and a string which is colored red color, which comes from worms. The paint actually comes from worms, and ezev, and a piece of grass. And you have to put this all together into the water, and then you have to perform the process of the tara. Rashi says that all of these three things, the tree, the tall tree, and the string, which is colored with the paint which comes from the worms, and the grass, all symbolize that a person has to lower himself and work on his humility. Because one of the sources of tzaras, one of the reasons that lead to a person to becoming struck with tzaras, is because he spoke lashon hara, or as the Gemara says, gaiva. A person feels himself with a lack of humility, feels himself as greater than other people. That leads to lashon hara. That leads to also a lot of other averes, and also brings tzaras on a person. So therefore, to battle that, to purify himself from that, he has to use these three ingredients. Rav Shimon Schwab in Mein Beis Hashavua says that these three ingredients are not random. Each one symbolizes a different level of humility. There is the person who feels himself completely inadequate. He feels that he's not worth anything, he's completely worthless in front of Hashem, in front of other people. He's like the grass, everybody steps on him. It's very easy for him to feel humble. In fact, that's a very unhealthy humility, when a person doesn't feel like he's worth anything. There's another level of a person, the worm. The worm is a creation of Hashem, but it's very disgusting. People don't like worms. People run away from worms. People don't seem to enjoy the company of the worms. It's a disgusting bria. It's a disgusting insect, and that symbolizes the person who doesn't think he's nothing, but he thinks that he has sinned in front of Hashem. He thinks he's dirty. He's not adequate. He's inadequate because of his deeds. Such a person also is easier for him to feel humble, but it's also not such it's a good step in the right direction. But the real level of humility, the real ideal humble person is the one who is a part of the tall tree. So the tall tree, he feels himself adequate, he has learned Torah, he's doing mitzvahs, he has not sinned, yet he realizes that he's only a piece of the tree, that there's much greater sages around him. And not only that, but in front of Hashem, he has to feel himself especially humble in front of Hashem, even though he is an adequate person, even though he's a person who learns Torah, who does mitzvahs, who has great deeds, who has accomplishments in his material pursuits, or in even his spiritual pursuits. He has reached a high level of plateau, but still he has to work on his humility. Says the Torah, take these three ingredients and work on the humility. I once heard from Rabbi Avram Edelstein that he told me once that he believes that today in the world there's not a problem of gaiva. There's not a problem of people who feel they feel that they're greater than other people. There's a problem today. Our main problem is a problem of lack of self-esteem. When a person doesn't feel good about himself, so he inevitably will try to push other people down to raise himself up. That's not the real gaiva. That's not the gaiva of the Mesilas Yesharim. That's not the real gaiva that we have to battle. The real battle is to feel good about yourself, to realize that you are a person, that you do have your strengths. Hashem likes you. Hashem loves you for who you are. But realize that everybody has their place in society, and the fact that you are adequate, and the fact that you do learn Torah, that you do have accomplishments, that doesn't make you greater than other people, definitely doesn't make you greater in front of Hashem. Person, in any case, even when he does feel adequate about himself, should realize and work on the humility to be able to be in front of Hashem, humble. We don't have tzaras nowadays, we don't have the physical blemishes of the tzaras bring, but we do have the system of purifying ourselves from the midas, from the character traits that bring a person to the sins that brought us tzaras. And we can work on that. We can purify ourselves just like they purified them with the Eitz Erez and the Shnit Teilas and the Eza. We should all work on our humility, realize that in front of Hashem, we have to be humble, we have to practice humility in front of Hashem. Hashem does not want us to feel that we are completely inadequate, we're like the grass, we're like the worm. No, we're like the trees. We're tall and we're proud, but we're also humble in front of Hashem. Good Shabbos. To subscribe, you'll get the video every week by subscribing. Put a like. Thank you very much. Good Shabbos.